Hi, Rubens. Would you like to
Oh,
introduce yourself to the nice people?
hi there, John. My name is Rubens. I've been playing old school for what's now maybe less than 2 years, 18 months, something like this. I'm originally from Brazil, so I hope people understand what I'm saying with a heavy accent. But I'm originally from Brazil. I'm here in DC for work and discovered old school out here. I used to play Magic way back then in the 90s. Had a lot of long periods where I was not playing, but then found out old school, and it was, I think, exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah. So, being from Brazil, your origin story is going to be a little different from most of the
Uh-huh.
other old school players because Brazil, of course, has a pretty big history of some really great players. In the '90s and early 2000s, especially. But when did you first start playing?
I started playing right when Mirage was coming out.
Okay.
So you see, I got the poster here. It's Visions. It's not by accident. Mirage and Visions are probably the most iconic and nostalgic sets for me. I love that era. But I was playing during that time, and of course, like you said, in Brazil it's a bit different. People didn't see alpha or beta or anything like that.
Right.
There was a guy in my hometown who had like one Black Lotus, but he was like the guy in the city who had the one card. So it was stuff like that. I remember I was already playing for maybe I don't know, a couple of years before I first saw Sinkhole. I was amazed that somebody printed a card that was a two-mana land destruction spell. So it was fourth edition was really what settled for us that, I mean, the big expansion of Magic in Brazil, because it came out in Portuguese. Not a lot of people when we were young back then could understand the English cards.
Hmm.
So when it came out in Portuguese, the Black Border fourth edition was really big. Everybody in my school, for example, played. But it was, and then those are the cards that are more nostalgic to me. So FBB, Portuguese, and in general, Foreign Black Border carries much more of a like a nostalgic aesthetic feeling for me than I think would be like Beta and Unlimited for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I really think most of the people in the old school scene who are my age, Unlimited was astoundingly rare. I mean, the number of people who played in
Mhm.
1993 was nowhere near as many as those who started during Revised, which is when I started. So, so Revised is kind of Revised and Fourth Edition are both kind of peak nostalgia for me.
Mhm.
But of course, we had the advantage that most of the cards were in English. um, I did want to ask about that Pendelhaven behind you,
Oh,
and
okay.
maybe ask about a few of your other finishes because
Mhm.
even though you've only been playing old school for 18 months, you've had some pretty spectacular finishes. So I want to talk about a few of them. But let's start with
Yeah,
where
I
you won the
wouldn't
Pendelhaven.
say. Yeah, I wouldn't say spectacular, but I always like to play things competitively, even if they are like old school, which is a relaxed environment. I always like to try to win, but usually in a sort of different way.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Pendelhaven yeah, the
Yeah.
Pendelhaven here. It was a large tournament that Dice City Games put up here. I think about a year ago. They were doing. A side event that was Ice Age Draft. Like I said, that era where Ice Age was all around was big nostalgia for me too. So I had to play that. I We did two pods of 8 players, and then the finalists from both pods also played the finals. To see who won, and I won that. I won my pod, and then won the final, and it's still one of my great memories of playing Magic. I think here in the United States is that one Ice Age draft. I faced the guy in the finals who was playing a Circle of Protection deck that was pretty smart, but I had like 2 or 3 key cards, like one artifact creature, one destroy all enchantments. And with those I was able to work around his deck. I did a red, green, splash of blue draft deck that ended up taking it all.
So I believe you also had a pretty good finish at GloryCon.
Yeah, I got first a Glory Con.
right?
I was slowly building a collection when I was started playing old school here. So I don't have all the cards, and especially I don't have much in the sense of the much of the many of the blue dual lands.
Right, right.
Which I just left those. I'm gonna buy those later. Those are more expensive. So I started building a collection with the more budget stuff, and I started slowly buying dual lands, but most of the non-blue ones. And so at GloryCon, I played what was in part a budget deck, but not really, because I mean I had like a Mox Jet, I had a Jusam Jin and stuff like that. But it was a red, green, white deck, so I'm kind of proud of taking down a big tournament without blue power.
Yeah.
And I started I think to sort of work more in this space of trying to come up with powerful stuff that's nice, but not necessarily runs Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and Time Twister. But I like those cards too. To tell you the truth, I think if I had all the cards, I might play those more too. But it was really fun. My deck was not I think especially creative. It just run like all of the great cards that you have in non-blue, non-green. But at the same time, I think it was very well rounded in its sideboard. I think there's a lot of knowledge in the deck. I'm kind of proud of that one.
Yeah, and I mean, you say it's not creative, but also it's a very uncommon color combination for old school.
What people call Mardu now, right? The red,
yeah, I think
black.
Yeah, I don't always remember the names of the shards, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that one might be Mardu. Okay, so we're gonna play a game here, and without spoiling too much for the audience, you challenged me to a Fallen Empires themed, not necessarily all Fallen Empires cards, but Fallen Empires themed tribal deck, and people are gonna know pretty quickly what tribe I'm playing, and I am hoping that they'll know pretty quickly which tribe you're playing. But yeah, this is kind of a callback to our experiences at Dice City, which is pretty big on having tribal.
Yeah, for people who don't know, the owner, one of the owners of Dice City Games, Jimmy, is pretty obsessed with Fallen Empires. I am too. Back in Brazil, you can imagine, like, the boosters were pretty expensive. Every booster was expensive because we have not only, I mean, the cards being expensive, but you have the exchange rate. So in the times that like third world countries are going through crisis, like everything that's in dollars can get like incredibly expensive. But there was 2 sets that were never that expensive, which was Homelands and Fallen Empires. And I cracked a lot of Fallen Empires boosters, a lot. So I love Fallen Empires too. I think was one of the things that made Magic accessible for people like in weird places.
Yeah, I'm always happy to run into another player who has a soft spot for what is often called one of the worst sets in Magic, but it is so much fun and it has a lot of flavor, and we're gonna see that right now. So I'm gonna switch my camera, and I guess you'll tilt yours down. And I'm gonna make a few adjustments here. It's been a couple weeks since I recorded one of these. Okay. All right. Let me know if you have any trouble seeing anything except my hand.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask some questions while we're playing. So sure. This is a casual match. If you need some extra time to think, or if you need to take back one of your plays, please don't hesitate to ask. It's
great.
Okay. So while we're shuffling up, I like to focus on community with this series. So for most of us, our community when we started playing was our friends or maybe even family members. But who did you learn the game from?
Like I said, in the very early beginning, there was a lot of course, English cards going around.
Mm-hmm.
So I had one friend who was this genius guy who knew English when we were like 12.
Mm-hmm.
He knew it pretty well. And he was the guy, his name is Victor. He's the guy who probably filtered the game and is the one who was the gateway for all of us to understand the game. He was the rules guy. He was like the center of everything. I don't think he got to play a lot because he had to answer our questions like all the time, being the one guy who really understood it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was centered around my school friends, I think, at the time. And it was at one point, I think most of the guys at my school played, but then a couple years later, I think that was really just a smaller group playing. But it was very formative for me. I think learning English, I think in part was something that came from the incentive of having to understand more cards and being able to read strategy articles online and so on. So it was a group in my hometown, but I think it had a big impact on my life.
Are you still in touch with any of the people you played with when you were younger?
I am. Some came back. Nobody's playing. Really, not many people, or almost no one is playing old school in Brazil right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still in touch with them. I show them my decks. Some of them are buying some fourth edition Black Border Portuguese cards due to nostalgia. Also, do you wanna choose?
Yeah, 2 on top, and I don't care what goes on the bottom. I don't think our games are gonna last that long.
Yeah, three on top.
Okay.
So it was like that. I think it was very important for me when I was young. I think uh, the friendships, some of the friendships that I made through Magic, also are some of the friends that I still have, and with WhatsApp and Facebook. Even if I'm here in the United States for work, I still keep in touch with a lot of people there who play.
Yeah. Even or odd?
I'd say even.
It's even. Your choice.
Okay, I'll play first.
This has lands and spells. That seems good enough to me.
Yeah, I'll keep you.
So you mentioned that you found you can start off while I ask a question. You mentioned that you found old school about 18 months ago. What was how did you find old school? How did you get into this format?
Well, when I first got posted for work here in the US back in 2017, one of the things that got to me was like, well, I'm in the United States. Well, you can play. Sorry. I was in the United States. I thought, well, I'm going to be there for work for like 3 to 4 years. I should probably try to hit up some Grand Prix because we had so few of those back in Brazil. I remember when I was young, I waited like a year and a half for the a GP that was going to happen in the south of Brazil, and it was pretty important for me to play that one GP, and then I moved to the US, and you can play. And here you guys have like before COVID, you guys had like one GP every week almost, or at least every 2 weeks, and so on. So I started to go to a lot of those. And what I did was that played a bit, but also with time, I think I found out that I was not that much that competitive as I was back when I was younger. And then at one point, I think I in one of the GPs, I saw some older cards, started searching online, but I don't really remember. Maybe it was on Reddit or something like this. I saw like one deck, and then that one deck pick changed everything. I remember I saw some old school back to you, some old school deck, and seeing that one, I just realized, well, That's made for me probably. And then I went after and found out that DC is sort of a hot spot for that.
This is Icatian Lieutenant, which
That's the guy that pumps, right?
he pumps soldiers for 1 and a white.
Okay.
Your turn. Yeah, I feel like this is one of the ones that I have to actually tell people. The art's
No,
a little
remember
less.
the guy. Yeah. He's sort of a general for the others.
Yeah, but pretty uncommon in from a Fallen Empire's card.
I'll hint you Torok.
Ooh. Oh, playing real cards. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
I'd say 2 and 3.
Army of Allah and Army of Allah.
I thought that it wouldn't be Fallen Empires if people were not him tutoraking each other. Let's see. So each guy is a 1/1, but there's a guy who gets.
This is a 1/2.
Right?
This is a 1/2. This is a 1/1. And I can give it banding or first strike for a colorless. And this is a Javelineer with a javelin counter on it.
Yeah,
and also
I'll just
a
pass
1/1.
back to you.
Okay.
But I think that's it, John. I think it was through the internet, but then I found out that here there was a lot more people playing, and I just went after it. And it happened that just in the time that I decided to build a deck, there was a tournament coming up here in DC. I played that. It was the Dark Anniversary that Dice City Games put up, and I didn't do well at that one, but I had a lot of fun, and that was it.
I'll attack for 1.
I will not block.
Okay. I'll pump him +1/+0.
Okay, I'm at 18.
And I will pass the turn to you.
And the guy pumps +1/+0, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just attack with the Necrite.
Okay. I will block with the Javelineer and throw a javelin at it.
Okay, they trade. I'll play another Necrite. And a Dark Ritual, Mind Step through.
Okay.
And pass back to you. So I don't remember the lore, but from what I understand, it's like a war between Fallen Empires, like a war, right? Between orcs, goblins, the soldiers, and the trolls.
Yeah, so we could talk a little bit about the lore. First, I'm going to attack with the Icacian infantry.
He gets bending or first strike, right?
Right. I can give him first strike.
The guy's really good. The guy should,
He's pretty good. He's not bad.
Yeah, no blocks.
Okay. No effects. I'll make a Yoshin soldier. Who is a soldier.
I like that guy.
Your turn. Yeah, so we could talk a little bit about the lore. In every single color in the on the continent of Sarpedia has a couple factions associated with them. So in your case, the factions are the Order of the Ebon Hand, which everyone's pretty familiar with. You get a planes.
Okay.
Everyone's pretty familiar with the Order of the Ebon Hand from the Knights. And the other faction is the Thrulls, and the Order of the Ebon Hand were breeding the Thrulls. And they, I will give the infantry banding and attack with that and the Yoshin soldier in a band.
I will not block.
Okay. I'll make it 3 total.
Okay. I'm at 14.
Your turn. And so the Order of the Ebon Hand were making these thralls to sacrifice for their rituals, and the thralls ended up just overpopulating and destroying the order from within. And on the other side,
Back to you.
in Icatia, which
Mm-hmm.
is where my tribe is from. The tribes are basically sort of the army and who are with the Order of Lightbur, which is the counterpoint to the Order of the Ebon Hand.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a charismatic preacher named Farrell, who has a couple cards associated with him, but doesn't actually appear. But one of the cards associated with him is the Hand of Justice, which is one of the most famous cards in the set.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just one moment, John. I'm just
oh,
supposing that they errata the Yachian soldier to be a soldier, right? So he can
yeah,
pump it.
yeah, he's a soldier now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, which is why he's in the deck. Like
Yeah.
it
Makes
was too
sense.
cool to leave him out.
No, but he's also a good card on his own. But you were saying, so yeah, the Hand of Justice is one of the iconic champions.
Yeah. Okay. Let's band and swing.
I will not block.
Okay. I will sacrifice both of these to give them to give each of them +1/+0.
Okay, that's 4 total.
And hold on. And yeah. Okay. So 4 total.
Okay, I'm at 10.
And then I'll play land tax.
Great.
Your turn. So what other tribes are there? In red, there are orcs and goblins, which I know you're pretty familiar with. and the civilized, let's say, group is all right. We're getting back a big throw. Okay.
Yeah, he's a 4/4.
All right. The Basil Thrall is removed from the game, however.
Oh, you're right. You know your fallen empires. And I'll pass back
Okay.
to you, I guess. Yeah.
I will trigger land tax.
Okay.
The quote unquote civilized group from red in Fallen Empires is the dwarves, which really only has a few cards associated with them. There's Dwarven Armor, who's kind of cool as a discard outlet. And there is Dwarven Soldier, who I think is actually a highly underrated card. And Dwarven Lieutenant, who's the counterpoint to Icacian Lieutenant sitting here, does the same thing for dwarves. And in green, there are the elves and Thalids, who are, of course, one of my favorite tribes. And the elves and Thalids kind of have a similar relationship as the Thrulls that you're playing. The Thalids were being bred by the elves for food, which is pretty gross when you think about it. I will pass.
Okay.
Have we missed a color? Oh, right, we missed blue. Blue has Merfolk and Homerids are notoriously terrible. They're vastly overpriced, but they do have a pretty cool card in Homerid Spawning Bed, which lets you sacrifice blue creatures to make tokens. And all right, we're coming in with the big 4/4.
Thinking, yeah, if this makes sense, because you guys are also heavy beaters there with the bump effect. He's a 140 Yachian soldier, right?
Right, he's a 1/4. And
yeah, I'll attack with this one. Yeah, I'll attack the 4/4.
Okay. I will activate banding using the Icacian infantry
Hmm.
and I'll gang block with all three of them.
Okay, so you pick the damage, right? How to do damage?
Yeah, and I'm going to pump the Yoshin Soldier to a 2/4.
Makes sense.
Okay. So I'll deal 3 to the Ocean Soldier and 1 to the Icacian Bodyguard.
Oh, that works.
The Icacian Lieutenant. If you want to take that back because you didn't see the...
I didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
Actually, I knew about bending. I thought it was gonna be clever and use my Urborg to take out the first strike, but it's that's not relevant at all. So it was actually a mistake.
Yeah,
Okay then.
that's
Uh,
yeah. I always let people take back moves in this because we're talking the whole time, so it's it's a little hard for people to
Thanks.
do combat math.
Okay, I'll take that back that one time because it's just like a shump attack.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but bending is hard. Let me. I'll go for Ebon Praetor. Just
Oh
stop
my
deck
god.
guy. Back to you.
Yeah, I ended up not putting in the I'll activate land tax. I ended up not putting in the Hand of Justice. Just didn't think I'd ever be able to cast it. I would have this game, but there's not that much mana in here, and
No, but I think Hand of Justice is one of the real cards in Fallen Empire.
yeah, I actually have a different deck built around. It's sort of built around Hand of
Okay.
Justice. I have a Tribal Clerics deck as well. Draw for turn. I'll play Plains. And I will pass with 7 cards in hand.
Okay.
Alright.
I will sacrifice the throw for him, so he gets +1/+0
Yep.
counter. Yeah, so he
it's a
got a
6/6 now?
-2/-2 counter, and I removed by doing this the counter, and then he gets a +1/+0 counter.
Yeah,
That card is not
it's a bit of a
straightforward.
mess.
And I'm gonna try it again if I understand it well. Yeah, this guy's 6/5.
Okay.
First strike trample, but I think the first strike doesn't. Yeah, you still pick the damage distribution, right?
Yeah, but I don't think I can kill him. So if I activate banding, I can off this guy and do
Yeah, you can do 5 for sure.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can't do 5. Okay. I take 6 and I go to 14.
And back to you.
I do not land tax this time. And I'll play Plains. And pass the turn.
But he's so terrible, I think I'm gonna have to. But you know what? I'm gonna do it. Yeah. He's a 7/5 now.
Yeah. I mean, pretty hard for me to deal with.
Yeah, but he's weird. He's weird. He eats my whole board for lousy counters. But the art's cool. It has a bunny in it. I'm gonna go for it. Yeah,
I'm at 7.
True champion.
Uh-oh.
And back to you.
Alright. That's not bad. Order of Lightburn.
Oh, okay.
Your turn.
Yeah. So now he's also getting a bad counter, a -2/-2 counter.
Okay.
Because I'm not sacrificing. So he's a 7/5 that becomes a 5/3.
Okay. Wow. Wait.
That's right, no?
No, he's
5/3?
he should be +2/+2 and
No, he's getting a -2
Yeah.
now. And what he got is minus +1 +0 from the two counters he has
Oh,
now.
I see. Okay.
Did you count their life correctly? I think you did, right? You said 7 last turn.
Yeah, I'm at 7.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a weird guy. He's 5-3 now. Okay. So the order is gonna be harder to beat. I'll just play a swamp and pass.
All right. Draw. Pass the turn. There's so many lands.
Ebon Praetor now he's 3-1 for strike trample. Oh man, I did not draw my breeding pit. I'm going to pass.
Right. I can't think of anything better to do with this disenchant, so I'll get rid of the Soul Ring. I actually cut the Soul Ring from my deck. I was like, I can't think of anything to do with this except cast the Ocean Soldier. Play a Plains and Benelish Hero, who is a soldier. As you may have guessed. I will pass the turn.
Yeah, this guy died. And I'll pass back to you.
Okay, there we go. All right,
Sorry,
swing with the order.
Yeah, no blocks. I was at 10,
2,
I believe.
3, 4, 5, 6.
6, I'm at 4.
And I will pass to you.
Yeah, you got this one.
Yeah. Oh man, banding.
Banding is very relevant always. I need to relearn banding, but it's I have a sideboard.
I made a sideboard too, and I don't have a ton of stuff, but I think it's probably good for us to do this. Got a whole bunch of cards that work against red decks, but
yeah, I'll put at least try to improve it marginally here. And John, I'm sorry, you grew up in Baltimore, right?
right.
You're
I grew up in Baltimore, and I don't really leave the area too much if I can help it. So, I don't think that card is that good. Yeah, I'm gonna find another question to ask while we're sideboarding. So one I would like to ask, notwithstanding card access issues in old school, what is your favorite color in Magic?
I was one of those kids that embraced one color when I was young, and I think that determined a lot for me, which was black. For me, Dark Ritual and Hippie.
Okay.
This friend I mentioned, Vitor, he was blue. I had another friend, Bernardo, who was white, and yet another friend who ended up in red, green, or green. So we were it happened in our play group. It happened that like we ended up each one setting on one color. And to tell you the truth, I think choosing black back then it had a big impact. I think I chose the evil guys in many of the video games I played later. I played Brute War a lot. I was Zerg, and I played the Undead in Warcraft 3. So I think it all goes back to choosing Hypnotic Specters and Dark Rituals back then.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's funny how, player I haven't met a lot of players that are kind of on the fence about whether they liked one color. You know, it was I know some people who were like, no, I didn't really care. I just played whatever was good. A lot of old school players seem to be a little bit more into preferring one color, but I do kind of wonder if that was a card access thing from when we were young.
Yeah, I think it made sense when you were like you didn't have many cards, you just trade everything you had in one color to get everything in the other color, so it made sense.
Yeah,
And I
that's how
think
I
it
ended up
took a
playing White
while.
Weenie. And
Yeah, makes sense. I think for us it was pretty much that, and also there's like I don't think the idea of multicolor decks came up to us immediately. I
mhm.
think it was like very natural for us to think that you were a blue mage or you were a red mage, and then but like after a few months, I remember that we started seeing more of that, and with time, I think I I spread out to other colors a bit. I played a lot of red decks, but it's still when I came back to old school, the first thing that drew me in was seeing that Him to Turek was legal in many formats, and the idea of casting Him to Turek again, I think was the thing that drew me. Hypnotic Spectre, like I said, Royal Assassin, and Sengir Vampire, like all the fourth edition cards were the a huge draw for me.
Yeah, the first deck I made when I found old school was a White Weenie deck that was pretty close to the deck I played in 1995.
You
Before
didn't
I
do
switched to a
one
different.
on top. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's what I have always gravitated to. When I first started playing pre-modern, the first deck I made was a White Weenie deck. Two on top.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think it's. But I'm starting to branch out. I've been playing a mono blue deck a lot. I've been trying to play other stuff. I'll play first.
Okay. All right. While we're drawing our opening hands, let's ask another favorites question. Do you have a favorite win? Doesn't have to be a specific game if you don't have one in mind, but or it could be a favorite way to win.
Not a specific match that I won, but like a specific way to win. I I am I play. I'll pass to you. I play a lot of limited. I think I really like limited more than constructed, and one of the things that drew me into I think into old school was the idea of that the games played a bit like limited. So I think attacking and blocking with creatures is my thing, and I'm I was being big in I'll burn for one for a mind step through, and
Okay.
I'll pass. So I always been like a creature guy, and I like constructed decks that play a bit like seal decks, where you just cast creatures, you attack, you block, you use removal. That was one another thing that also drew me to old school, that I saw that the decks were creature heavy. There was combo, there was of course control, but that there was going to be a lot of attacking and blocking involved, where regular magic became, as we know, at times all combo, or nowadays all planeswalkers and other stuff. And I think the combat zone is what I really like about magic. So I'm traditional in that way, maybe.
A Benelish hero and an Icatian Javelineer,
Okay.
and then I will pass the turn.
I'll attack here.
No blocks.
Okay. How many cards in hand?
I have 6 cards. You know 3 of them.
Yeah, that's tough. Do I wanna?
I'm sorry. I have 7. I have 7.
You have 7, yeah.
Yeah.
Land tax is the counter to mind step through. Who would thought that that guy is the key card against mind step through? But um, Let's not make you. Yeah, I won't make you discard.
Okay.
And I'll play a Necrite and burn for 1 again and pass back to you.
Let's play Location Infantry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the very badly miscut reasons I had to
That's beautiful.
sleeve this deck. I actually, when I played this in the Sarpedia series, I had to borrow a playset from Jimmy just so I could play this deck unsleeved.
I would like to try playing unsleeved one day. Makes sense. I just got heavily invested into collector's edition and international edition.
Yeah, that's one of the problems.
Yeah.
My Thallid deck has a lot of collectors and international edition cards in it that prevent me from ever considering playing that one unsleeved. But I don't play everything unsleeved. To be perfectly honest, the cards have lost a lot of their wax coating over the years, and it makes them much harder to shuffle than when they were first printed.
Uh-huh.
I'll pass the turn.
You're at 18 and I'm at 18 too, right?
Yeah, I forgot to reset my life total here. Your mana burn's doing my job for me.
Yeah, man. The Soul Ring is killing me. I will pass back to you.
Okay. Untap, draw. I'll play planes, since you're not game. I will attack with the Icatia infantry.
Yeah, no blocks.
No
You can
effects.
get first strike, right?
Right. No effects.
17.
I'll play my version of a Necrite. This is Feral Zealot. For anyone who doesn't know what this does, which is perfectly understandable, if he attacks and is not blocked, instead of having him deal damage, I can choose to have him deal 3 damage to target creature. So I will pass back to you.
And he's a choo-choo?
He's a 2/2. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
He's good. I will oubliette him.
Nice. Okay, he is phased out. Oubliette has some slightly more.
Errata, right?
Yeah. All right.
And I'll attack with the choo-choos.
Yeah, I will block the Necrite and shoot it with Javeliner. And I'll take 2 from the Mind Stab, unless you want to sacrifice it.
How many cards you got in hand now?
I have 6 cards.
Yeah, I'll keep him.
Okay.
Back to you.
Oh man, Oubliette. That is a nice card.
Yeah, it's the more universal removal. It's usually hard to play with in Nevirable's disc, but I decided this deck could be a good choice.
I will play planes.
Okay.
I will attack 2.
No blocks. I'm at 15.
Alright, I'll play yet another Icatia infantry. And then I'll pass the turn.
I will attack for 2.
No blocks. Am I taking the damage? Okay.
Yeah, the damage,
16.
sorry. And I'll play the Praetor. Back to you.
Okay. I will Swords to Plowshares your no. Your Mind Stab Thrull.
Ah, okay. I'm back to 17.
One tap. Draw. I will cast Armageddon.
Whoa.
And I feel like this Ebon Praetor situation is going to take care of itself, so pass the turn.
Yeah, probably. It's safe to say. He's 3-3 now, but he's got trample and first strike.
Could you just put a die on him for
Yeah, let me
for
get
people?
a few more die, just a second.
Yeah.
I should have gotten this, like...
Oh, this is pretty neat. You've got a die that has... Yeah.
Well,
The little counters. No, I like the little counters. The old...
okay.
Yeah, the old
Yeah, the
counters.
very old style. So, back to you.
Okay, so... I want to ask another favorites question, and this is kind of the more unusual favorites question. What is your worst defeat?
Man, there's one that hurts me a lot, which is I qualified for Worlds back in 2009.
Oh wow.
2009? No, it was it 2007? Man, I don't even remember anymore. Yeah, something like 2006 or 2007. The Worlds that was in New York, and I came here to play, and I was doing pretty well. I was 8-1-1.
Wow.
At Worlds. I went 6-0, 6-0 on the draft, and then the last format we were playing was extended back then, which is now what would be modern, and I lost a lot. And there's one loss there that knocked me out of the top 8, and I was doing so well, but I had never played extended in my life, and that hurt a lot. It was against a Swiss player that ended up top 8ing that year.
Wow. Wow, that is a spectacular defeat. That is definitely one of the better one of the better heartbreak stories I've heard on here.
But I learned a lot on that day because I wasn't ready to play extended. I went to Worlds. I was just happy that I qualified. I played a lot of standard.
Right.
I always played a lot of drafts, but I never thought that I was good enough to do well on standard and on draft, and I ended up doing well.
Yeah.
And I should have prepared for extended, and I didn't, so I just lost.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot. You have to be prepared to win.
I'll pass the turn. Yeah, I mean, there's only so much time in the world, though. So
yeah. I feel like I'm gonna need to. Man, this is not good, but I'm gonna.
Soul Exchange and a Neckrite. Okay.
Yeah. But he doesn't get the counter. It's an avatar, not a troll. And I'll pass back to you. So yeah, there's only so much time. I had never played those decks, and I just thought, that's the last format. I'll probably be knocked out by the time we come to the last format, but I wasn't. Yeah, it gave me that idea that you should not only be prepared to lose, but always be prepared to be winning. And
yeah. Can you put the 2/2 counter on the Neckrite so I don't
no,
forget?
he doesn't get the 2/2. He only gets a 2/2
if it's a Thrall. Right.
Yeah, it was just desperate move before I get the Ebon.
Yeah, it's better than him dying.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's band my Icacian infantries and attack for 2.
Okay, and you can give first strike to both, right? So no blocks.
Okay. And after combat, I'll make another Javelineer and stick another one of these nifty javelins on him.
Okay.
And then I'll pass the turn. The creatures just keep coming.
Yeah, you're on a roll, but I wasn't expecting Armageddon. So true champion, and I'll attack for 3. I guess no. I'll just pass.
Okay. Banding. It's so good.
Man. Yeah.
It's so good.
Bandings. Very real.
Yeah, I'm not playing four copies of it or anything, and sometimes I feel like I should warn people that I have
No,
Armageddon in the
it is
deck.
flavorful. I think that the White Winnie with the few Armageddon, that's flavorful. And always, it was what happened in Fallen Empires. Probably those guys faced Armageddon at one point.
Sweet.
Okay.
Actually, hang on. Hold on. I will band. I'll give
Okay.
him banding, and I'll stack all three of them in attack.
Okay, so it's a huge band, and I will. I will not block.
Okay. Just 3.
Okay.
And I'll pass the turn.
Okay. 12.
Yeah, Icatia in the story, Icatia was the last empire to fall, and I feel like when you're playing very heavy Fallen Empire stacks, it kind of shows. But
That card is it's the face down card is a counter for.
that is Feral's Zealot. He
Okay,
is
the phased out
he's
guy,
phased
right?
out. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll
Yeah,
attack
sorry, I shouldn't put
for.
that near my hand.
No problem. I'll attack with the 3/3.
Okay. I'll swords your Thrall champion.
Ooh, okay.
I'll block with the Javelineer and throw the Javelin.
Okay, they trade. Another mind stab and I'll pass.
Okay. Let's do this again.
Whoa. I have a soul ring and I'm losing anyway.
I will band the infantry and the hero and attack.
Okay, I guess I'll just have to. Yeah, I'll not block. I
Okay.
think 2.
All right, pass the turn.
Back to you.
All right.
I was kind
Banding.
of yeah, no blocks.
Go ahead. It just feels miserable to trade a 2/2 for a 1/1.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right. I'll give it first strike, Ebon hand,
Okay.
and I'll. You know what? I'll attack for 2. I missed that.
Okay. I'm at 14.
Back to you.
Okay. I'll trigger land tax. Because that's totally a fair card.
No, but you're playing a fair deck. It's just the bending is completely broken. There's no way around it. It's an insane ability.
You're at 10.
But yeah, it's so I played a bit more competitively back when I was back in, I think, between 2002 and 2007, something like
Pass.
this, 2003. And I can say, yeah, I used to enjoy it. But I'm at 10, you're at 14?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll attack.
No blocks.
3.
11.
Back to you.
All right. Draw. Planes. Band and attack.
No blocks. I'm at 8.
Order. Your turn. Battle of the Orders.
Hit you for 2.
No blocks. I mean, obviously.
Basel through and I'll pass.
Okay. Ooh. Play planes. Attack with the order.
No blocks.
No effect.
I'm at 6.
Your turn.
Order.
Okay. 2
No
or
effects.
okay.
No, yeah, that's it.
I am at 7.
Another basal through. Back to you.
Okay, I will swords the mind stab.
I go to 7. Sorry, 8. I was at 6.
Attack with the order.
No blocks.
I'll pump it once.
3. I'm at 5.
I'll play a hero. Pass the turn.
And I have you at 7.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll attack for 2.
No blocks.
Yeah, no effects.
Okay.
So I have at 5.
Okay.
And I'm at 5-2. Back to you. Sorry, you want to change your life total there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yay. Swing out and cast Army of Allah.
Okay, I'm at 4, right? I can only block 3 of... I'm at 5, I can only block 3 of them.
Yeah, and this is 4, 5, 6, 7,
yeah,
8, 9, 10.
Cool.
I finally got to cast it.
Yeah, it's a cool card. I thought that I was going to go like Armor Through and then sacrifice both Basil Throughs to try to get one attack in. But the card I needed, I have one Hellfire.
Oh wow!
Somewhere here. But it was the one Hellfire.
Yeah, I mean Hellfire would have killed you though.
Yeah,
I had enough creatures. Yeah. So I played an entire tournament with this deck, and never got to cast Army of Allah.
With a bunch of guys. Yeah, that's a real card.
What would happen is I would hold off, waiting to have 2 creatures to make it worth it, and then all my creatures would die, and I would lose the game. So I played 6 rounds with this deck and never got to cast it, and I think I only cast it. I put it in my regular White Weenie deck recently and played a 3-round tournament with it and only got to cast it once.
Yeah, at that tournament I played the tribe I chose was zombies. I ended up playing zombie lords, kind of like a zombie disco, because the zombie lord gives regeneration.
Yeah.
So I went for that, for like a disco zombie. I did pretty well with it, but I did not go for the Fallen Empires, guys.
Yeah. So those are the cards I put in. Those are the cards I took out.
Yeah, I took out a bunch of the Basal Thrulls, and also I think, yeah, I had like a very weird sideboard, which is like all the cards you would expect, but like one of each. True Retainer is a good card. It's a good true card that we should play more of.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting alternative to Unholy Strength, which also doesn't really see play. I mean, I know someone who called Unholy Strength the Black Savannah Lions.
Okay, yeah, it has haste in a way. Yeah. But True Retainer with Hypnotic Spectre, I think is a real thing against like red decks and so on. The regeneration works well.
Yeah. So we only got in 2 games. Do you want to play a third with another deck?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I built something that was like in the category 4. You said, like, it's old school.
Okay.
Unpowered, but regular.
For the viewers, since they might not know what that's about, I kind of rated all my decks for the guests so that they could pick, so that we could kind of match up things and make sure that it wasn't a hugely imbalanced match. Let's see. I'm going to play a deck that I have not played on camera. Just make sure I've got the right one. That is not the right gold bordered deck. We need a different gold bordered deck, John. Okay.
So you have stuff built in pre-modern too, right?
Yeah, I have a white weenie deck. Adam and I played a game on actually several games on camera with it the other week.
I need to watch those.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I remember we were discussing like when we started getting into old school. I remember one of the things that I googled up. I ended up finding your website. You have it. You have it up for a while now, right?
Yeah, and I haven't updated it for a while. I really need to do something about that.
Yeah, but for somebody who was like trying to find new decks, it was. I remember that I found some like budget suggestions, which for me were important back then, like how to build mono blue budget and so on. So it was cool to find those. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I do have to steal 2 cards from this deck. That's one. That is. That's the other. The perils of not quite having enough gold bordered cards. So yeah, let me ask another question. I of course know your regular play group, but maybe not. Maybe you have some other people that you play with regularly that you wanna tell us about. But yeah, who do you usually sling cards with?
Well, it was funny. There was a Brazilian guy, Carlos, who I met playing old school Magic here. What are the odds? He's also in
yeah.
for work.
I was gonna mention Carlos earlier, and it never really came up. But yeah, I found it pretty spectacular that there were just 2 Brazilian old school players.
Yeah,
and,
people
and
ask,
you guys both. You guys both showed up at Dice City like around
randomly.
The same time. Yeah,
exactly.
that was pretty neat.
But yeah, we became friends. I've been playing with him. He's a great guy, and he I think finished second at the large Sarcadia tournament that Dice City Games run. He won, and he won a bunch of different prizes because he was like, his deck was both orc tribal and goblin tribal,
right?
And
okay.
Empowered.
Yes, so, and I got to do commentary for his match that got him second place, and that tournament. He was definitely a hero. I believe it was unpowered at the time. So
it was. He has power, but he decided to aim for the unpowered prize too.
Yeah, but we didn't have an unpowered prize for that tournament, which was a shame because he would have cleaned up. He would have gotten the highest unpowered. He would have gotten second place, which gets him a calligraphy card and some other prizes at Dice City. He would have gotten multiple prizes for his tribal. I'm gonna grab a picture off the wall.
Okay.
So this was the prize for a lot of the people who had a tribal win in that.
Yeah, I
tournament.
got one of those too.
Yeah, this was sort of a consolation prize. All the actual tribal winners got a much lower number. These are numbered out of 1,000. Jimmy had the first. He had like 50 of the first 100, but he had some pretty low numbers, and all the lowest numbers went to the people who won tribal prizes. And I was a little salty because I played tribal clerics, and Jimmy ended up not having a prize for clerics.
For clerics. No, let's talk to him. He owe you a cleric.
And the deck I played is one that I very, very, very much wanted to get on camera, but I didn't quite have enough time to put it together for today. So I don't want to spoil that for viewers, but it's a very fun deck. Do you want to call even or odd?
Sure, even.
It's even.
Okay, I'll play first. But yeah, it was. And we have a good group here in DC. I like the guys here. It's I'll pass. It's what we're doing now during COVID is trying to do like very, very small get-togethers. Everybody wearing masks and just playing as apart as we can to try to stay safe. And of course, we only been trying to do that now that things the numbers are got a bit better here. But it's a hard time for Magic. I think for everyone. I think most of the people who played old school do it because in part of like it's a way to meet weird different people who are into this weird hobby. It's not it will never be the same on camera. But we're trying to stay safe. So yeah, me and Carlos we got together to play some. But let's see when we can do something larger. I think it's gonna take a while. Okay.
Oh, that resolves? Wow.
Resolves.
Okay. I will discard a forest and pass the turn. Man, all those counters you're playing, I did not expect that card to resolve.
Yeah, I'm on a weird. But let's see if I can reach you. So you have 7, right?
I have 7.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm not going to get amnesia'd yet.
Let's go for the wizard then. Back to you.
Oh my god, it's Apprentice Wizard.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if I can face land tax. Let's see.
Yeah,
and it's all gold bordered.
This deck is entirely gold bordered, and
Beautiful.
I couldn't quite do every card I wanted to play in gold border, but fortunately the World Championship decks come with blank cards. So there are 3 proxies in here, but I don't think anyone is ever going to complain about me proxying some $1 cards.
Yeah, I got all the championship gold border decks from the I got the 96 and 97, I believe, or 97, 98.
Oh, so you have the whole 96 box set?
No, I got the one after that. So it's
okay.
90. I got the 97 and 98. So if you ever want to like redo the finals of those, I can sit down with you and do that.
That would I would very much like to have an event where we do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I've got so many like little events that I keep trying to get Jimmy to agree to. Like I want to do the 96. I want to do the 96 Pro Tour top 8. I want to do. I keep trying to get Jimmy to schedule something for me to bring my cube.
Mm-hmm.
Bird.
Okay.
And swords your. This feels so unfair. Because who plays Apprentice Wizard? And
yeah, I'm trying to get the more unusual card.
But also, I don't want to lose my whole board to Triskelion, so I will discard a forest and pass the turn.
Man, I'll just have to. Yeah, I'll just play Desert.
Okay.
I think I need to. Back to you.
Okay. Untap. I will land tax maybe for the last time.
But it's yeah, I think that that era, I think I played more of that than the actual cards that we play here in old school.
Right, yeah, and realistically me too. I mean I did play during Revised and especially during Fallen Empires. Like Fallen Empires was the first time I had enough cards to actually make a deck that wasn't just, some cards. And I played right up pretty much to Mirage. I didn't really open very much of alliances. I kind of didn't understand how everything worked. to put it one way. So desert is a real problem to me, and I think I'm gonna have to use a strip mine on it.
Okay, but let me think.
And do a side blast.
I will
Boomerang.
boomerang my desert.
Ah, that is spicy. Okay. Let's activate Mishra's Factory and attack for 4.
Okay. I'm down to 14.
Oh no, I played a strip mine. Sorry. I'll go to 16 and play another 2/1.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're getting another activation of your land tax. May I?
Yes, I'll discard a forest.
Yeah, I just need this desert online. Let's play desert and the time elemental. Back to you.
Is that a real-time elemental or is it a Sir Angel?
No, this is the. I think it was in Spanish that it came out wrong, but we had a few misprints that were exclusive to Portuguese, I believe, but in later sets.
You're at 14?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
I will activate the Mishra's Factory and attack for... Attack 2.
Yeah, no blocks. I'm at 12.
I'll play another Elvish Archers and pass the turn. Need something that can survive a desert.
I won't play. Yeah, I won't play this island. And now, pass back to you.
Play planes. Activate factory. Swing for 8.
Okay. I don't think I'm blocking with the time elemental. Seems bad. But yeah, I'm taking everything.
Everything? Alright,
Yeah, because it has to be used like
yeah.
post combat, right?
Yeah. I will pump the order one twice.
That's
going to 15.
That's 10, right?
Yeah.
So I'm at 2 and I'm gonna kill the order.
Okay. Your turn. Man.
Yeah, being at 2 is hard. I'll say back to you. I probably made a mistake at some point. I needed the island.
Activate the factory and attack for 6.
Yeah, I think you got this one. That was not anticlimactic. I'm sorry. Magic's like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's yeah. So this like I was saying, the foreign black border cards feel much more nostalgic to me. So I love the I for me, Mirage and Visions also carry a lot. And I didn't really play with people who were casting Serendib Fritz, for example. That was not a thing.
Yeah.
Back in Brazil in the 90s, nobody had those.
I can say too, I played a lot of Vintage and 1.5, and there really weren't very many Serendipity Freets in I basically never saw them until I started playing them in a mono blue deck
Uh-huh.
that I really liked.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah, so these are the proxies I had to make for this deck. No one played Rainbow Veil in the 1996 top eight,
Uh-huh.
even though it's pretty spectacular with land tax.
Land tax, yeah.
Of course, no one played Soul Ring because it wasn't legal. But you can't play old school without at least a Soul Ring, right?
But that drawing is yours. You're pretty good at it.
Yeah, these aren't too bad. These were done with just little eraser markers, and
Ah, okay.
I've got some dual land proxies that I painted that are around here somewhere, and I've done some silly altars for some people on the Discord and stuff.
No, those are good. Those are good.
Um, and yeah, I mean, it was a little surprising to me that no one played even a single copy of Regrowth, but not even the sideboard. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's not that great without being able to get restricted cards or something. It's kind of
Yeah.
mediocre in here, and it's also a little bit of a joke that I'm playing that I have to proxy a Regrowth. But let's switch back to our regular cameras, and I'll ask. I've got one or two more questions that I want to ask. So, I do hope that you still had fun. Normally,
Yeah, this is great. I don't mind losing at all.
yeah,
And also, I needed to scratch that itch of casting Basel through. I had not cast Basel through yet, and like I said, I played so much Fallen Empires back in the day that I want to do this more. I want to whenever you want to play anything that's Fallen Empires centric, you just call me.
yeah, we'll have to pick another set of colors. So so one of the questions I didn't get to during our games is, do you have a preference between kitchen table magic and tournament magic?
I always played tournament magic. Actually, every game I played, I went more into like the competitive side of it. So I played Brood War a lot. Due to the lag time and the ping that we had in Brazil, like with the internet speed and so on, I was never able to like compete on the like international level. But it's still for the Brazilian scene, I think it was pretty decent. And then when Warcraft 3 came out, for example, I played it more competitively, and the internet had gotten better in Brazil at that moment. So I was able to play like on the US server, played against Koreans and all. So I always approached this sort of game pretty competitively. And
Mhm.
Magic too. I was always the guy who was, I mean, trying to qualify for things and so on. So for me, it was very interesting to find old school, which is, I think, is the first time that I'm playing actually this more relaxed version of Magic and loving it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, we
you
have tournaments all the time, but I mean, most of the time this really feels like
Yeah,
kitchen
but
table, right?
like you play junky stuff and I mean for you to feel like you're at the top of the world because you beat somebody who's playing like a weird deck. It's not the climb, right? You
Yeah.
go to the store and you play people who obviously are just trying to play with the old cards they wanna cast again. So for you to get like your competitive uh side on in that setting, it makes no sense. So for me, it's like I said, I think it's the first time in my life that I'm approaching Magic from a very relaxed way, and I'm loving it. It's great. I'm not sure if I'll get back to the thing I did before.
So let's see. I do have a couple questions that I didn't get to, but I just want to pick one more.
Uh-huh.
Um so actually, I have two and a half questions.
Uh-huh.
This is sort of a short question, but I didn't have my tea with me today, and I feel kind of incomplete. What do you like to drink while you're playing, if anything?
Well, I was never a heavy drinker or anything, but here in the U.S., I think I became of a more of IPA beer guy. There wasn't. I used to drink uh, um, very little. And here I think I met some people who are more uh, into beers. And
Hmm.
of course, you guys have amazing beer here in this region in the US. And just we are like living through this great era for beers. So for me, the whole thing where beers became these things like wine, where there's like a lot of beers, different beers. For me, that was great. Was what I needed. I didn't become like a beer snob or somebody who knows a lot about it, but I love to drink it. I love the things that you guys are doing with beer here, and it's taking over the world. It's in Brazil now too. I love it. I think I became a beer drinker, and I don't even drink. I think. Distillates much anymore. I know it's not sophisticated to say that, but I'm just became a beer guy.
Yeah, I mean, like, so normally I don't. I mean, I get pretty sloppy with even a half drink.
Uh-huh.
and and I know that during one of the Sarpedia series tournaments we had it at a brewery. And since I was playing tribal clerics, I was drinking Abbey ales all day, which are usually like very high alcohol content. And I had like two of them, and I was just destroyed in the middle rounds. And and
But
it's
for me, John is the
probably a
same.
good
Like,
thing. It's
two,
probably a good thing that I didn't play the whole tournament because I took a couple rounds off to do commentary, and it's probably
uh,
a good thing.
yeah, for me, I like two beers. It gets me at least tipsy, and I'm a larger guy, but for me, like I don't have to drink much to get like a huge headache next day, but
Yeah.
also to get drunk. Yeah.
But that's why normally on camera and I mean at Dice City, if I can find some tea or whatever, I usually stick to tea, and I and it's always a little bit interesting to find out how people feel about
Mhm.
caffeine or just water or beer while they're playing Magic. Some people, I mean, there's a lot of people who think it's not old school if you're not playing in a bar, and I'm like, well, I
Mhm.
didn't go to a bar when I was 13.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But
um,
it was a side of things that I enjoyed. Like now that we're doing this way, usually it's bars and so on. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, it's more relaxed. You're playing. It is like when we were younger in the sense that we didn't play as much at the game store, and we play
yeah,
like
yeah,
at a weird small table somewhere between other things.
right, right. Um, wow, this actually ended up being a more involved question than I thought. Normally, this is like a throwaway question, but my last question is going to be: is there anything about old school that you find dissatisfying or that you would change?
Um, what can I say? Uh, Not really. I think all my expectations were actually surpassed by the experience. I never knew there would be like large tournaments that I would meet so many cool people. I made friends doing this. Can you imagine, like in my profession, I'm a diplomat, so I'm always moving countries. Next year, I'll be transferred somewhere else. I'll probably spend my whole life going from place to place, and to be able to not have only a professional connection here, spending a few years in a country, and but actually like meeting people, making friends. It's hard to make friends when you're 35, as we all know, but also like interacting with people, with Americans, for example, and not only with people from work that the work I came to do
Yeah,
here
yeah.
was really important for me. So I loved it. I wouldn't change much. I love the fact that people are cool with like proxies, with CE. I love that people are casual about it, and some people take it much seriously. I wouldn't change much. No, I'm one of those people that like that the format is kind of fragmented and
Hmm.
people play different rules in different places. I wouldn't try to unify it. I like to play Atlantic one day, EC on the next, and Type 1.5. So some of the things that bother other people, for me, I'm cool with it, and I'm actually grateful that I found it in the short time that I'm spending here. So it was pretty important for me.
Cool, cool. You said you're gonna get transferred next year. Do you know where you're gonna end up?
Yes, I just got noticed that I'm going to Israel. I'll be working
Wow.
in Tel Aviv, which apparently is a very cool city. There's a lot of an interesting scene there, even for Magic, but not much old school. So I'll probably play more on camera. And I don't know, maybe find a few guys who play, because I heard that at least a few people play over there. Maybe get some pre-modern going, stuff like that. I think. But it's it was the place that was I wanted to get transferred. I could
Oh,
only
okay.
stay for that many years here in the
Yeah.
US. I reached the maximum that I could stay. I loved it here, but if I could stay more, I would. So now that I'm getting transferred, at least I got to be transferred to the place that I wanted to go, and I think it's gonna be interesting. People say that Tel Aviv is a cool city.
Yeah, my former boss went every few years if he could afford it, and he really I mean, he obviously really liked going if he went multiple times, but yeah. I mean, it'll be a shame not to get to play you in person, but I
No,
mean,
I'll come back from time to time. Let's see if Jaco ever comes back with one more another I don't know large tournament, of Jimmy puts up something big and I'm able to travel. I'll try to. I'll be closer to Europe there, so maybe I'll don't know
yeah,
travel
yeah.
to play with those guys in Italy, stuff like that. But we'll play in person again one day. I'm sure.
Yeah. But I mean, at least we've always got webcam games.
Exactly.
Every kind of nice that everyone got used to this, even if it's a little bright spot in a very dark year. But
Yeah, it's the safe thing to do.
okay, I want to thank you very much for agreeing to spend your time with me today.
Thank you so much, John. Congratulations on the work you do. I
All right.
love you. Love the stuff you do. I really like Baltimore old school. Like I said, the stuff you put up there on the website was great for me when I was starting. So congratulations on the work. I really like the stuff you do.
Well,
Really
thank.
like your commentary on deck tech. I think everybody who's working on a deck should come to the Discord and talk to you. Really like the stuff you come up with.
Well, thank you, Rubens. I hope you have a good night,
Have a
and
good evening.
thanks again.
Bye bye.